Hello, and welcome. This is Supreme Commander Forge Alliance Forever. This is a ladder matchup between Turin Turinbart, Patchy, and Snowbound or Blodir on Wetlands. Osil Wetlands. 10 by 5 kilometer map. 10 kilometers across, 5 up or down. And an absolutely massive number of mexes. Start with 6 in the base and 2 hydrocarbons. Have more in between the bases, 6 here, 6 in this base in the corner. Again, 2 hydros with each of the 6 mexes. And many more scattered around. Small groups of 3, 4 everywhere, and even reclaim. So, this map is going to move very quickly. There's so much mass, and the hydros help a lot to actually be able to use this. You're gonna have to, well, this is gonna scale very quickly. We're gonna be moving up the techs rapidly, and you're gonna have a lot of mexes upgraded, and a lot of factories. So let's see how they start. I expect second air from both players because, well, you could go third air. Actually, third air would be fine. Second land so that they can get even more engineers out. If we look at what's queued here, see only engineers for here, and we'll probably see a lot of engineers out of this. No, only tanks. So only engineers and then tanks out of the second factory. Turin also second land. And he is going NG heavy. Look at that. Okay, tank and a scout and then just more and more engineers. No P-gens, only hydrocarbon. Don't actually need P-gens when you have 2 hydros right next to your base. Blodir gonna walk forward to this base and maybe continue on to the next one. Seems logical to send your ACU in this direction, and similar for Turin, because if you move down, you have a much longer distance to actually get to this base, and you're not going to be actually protecting anything on your way. You may eventually be protecting this once you get to about here, but if you move this way, instantly you're very quickly at your second base, and you can defend from here, and then you can move on to the next, and again control this entire top land area with your ACU, and of course you're going to need a lot of units there as well. So it certainly seems much better to move in this direction than to try and move across the map. With the ACU, you should see, I think it transports, this is a plateau. I think the rest of the plateau looking things are not actually plateaus. They have ramps. Here we have a ramp. This has a ramp. So this is actually the only plateau, but I still think transports would be good for dropping to these bases so that you can drop many engineers and instantly get that PD up and start building your base quickly rather than just walking single engineers. That is a transport from Turin. You can see lacking for power, unsurprisingly, on a map like this. I think the hydras should be prioritized heavily on such a map. Let's see how many mexes they have already. They've barely started. 18 mexes for Turin. And look, he's he hasn't even taken half the mexes on his side of the map. So it'll be interesting to see how the map splits. So we could see a split like this along this axis. We could see a split on this axis as well. And I think that would be really the only 2 ways it would go, and then just raiding different locations. Have some Mantis for Blodir now. Looks like we're gonna have a drop from Turin to try and make a base. Aurora defending easily versus the Mantis. The engineers drop and they're gonna rush a PD. There's a Mantis in the area and he's trying to... What the hell? Oh, he was hitting the transport. I was wondering why there's no damage being done. I think he was hitting the transport, which was landed. There's one engineer, two engineers, and the PD goes up. Third engineer survives. And Torrens in a pretty solid position. He's going to have to send more tanks up here. And he already has his ACU in this expansion. Blodir took some time to build more factories here in this base. And so maybe he's going to have trouble getting these mexes. See how many mexes Blodir has now. Without even all of his map control, he has 38. Do we have any mass extractor upgrades coming? No, doesn't look like it. Oh, we have one. I think we're going to see T2 land very, very shortly. Because you really need those T2 P-gens. And you can see Blodir being more efficient in this expansion. And he also has significantly more power income. So he's in a very good spot right now. You can see already pushing 1,000 power income, and we're 6 minutes in. Just really, and he's using almost all of it. You can just see how fast this map scales. It's very, very intense. Gotta get the early game right on maps with so much mass. Still many mexes to be taken. We're gonna see maybe another drop. Maybe we have an engineer here. There's also a reclaim on this plateau to go with a couple of mexes. So they're now walking forward with his ACU to try and take his map control. His Turin at the minute has more map control, although he hasn't taken these mexes, which is kind of bad. There's still quite a few mexes Turin has to take. Blodir has basically all of his. Now, do we see... Yes, Tech 2 land for Blodir. You can see how many engineers are building power. So many. Hydra's still not completed. I think that's a bit of a mistake to be so late on them, considering how efficient they are. But right now, it's looking good for Blodir. But he can't actually walk into this. Needs to let his Medusa remove those PDs so that he can move in. And he looks like he's going to need more tanks, sending reinforcements to help his ACU out. Now, one thing I think people should try to take advantage of on this map actually is the adjacency. Look at this. You can get triple adjacency on these base mexes, and it looks like Blodir has not taken advantage of that, but you get such a discount from having triple adjacency, and it's very rare that you even get to take advantage of that. You can see here triple adjacency for Turin in his base. Can make a big difference as you move up the techs, and when you're trying to get the HQ upgrade as well, can help you a lot. Only other map where I can think of where you get so much adjacency is on Darkfall. You can get 4 mex adjacency, which is, well, I don't know anywhere else where you can actually do that. On this map you just have a ton of spots for that triple adjacency. So now Blodir still trying to push back and take this base over. A lot of reclaim being left. It's a big T1 battle. His ACU has moved to mid. Secures the 3 mexes, which is nice. I think you can make a naval factory here. Can actually fit one and make some frigates. Might not be a bad idea. So Turin has enough units here and had enough PD to defend and slow down the push, and he still has control. He doesn't have the mexes though, which is really not helping, but he is at least denying the area to Blodir. But now with T2 land out, I think Blodir can take this. The Rhino Medusa mix very strong, and Auroras can't really do much versus that. Bottom, not much happening. Turin just chilling. Doesn't have to do much. Hasn't made an upgrade. He's not making sensors. Always worth getting. Very cheap. Gives a lot of vision. We have gunships now from the T2 Air HQ. And we have T2 land coming up. So quite late. I would expect Turin to be moving to T3 land a lot faster than this. He could be at T3 land right now, to be honest. Considering well, there's just so many resources on this map that you can make T3 land very, very fast. So maybe a bit slow there to move to that, and he is assisting quite heavily now, and he'd probably not make anything out of the T2 factory, just go immediately to T3. So he has decent amount of air, so it doesn't really need to make flak. Although Blodir is coming for his air right now. Let's see what Blodir has going. He's making Corsairs. He's sending his air in to try and win this air fight. It's against Swiftwinds and Interceptors, but there's not many Swiftwinds. And there's far fewer Interceptors than Blodir has, so looks like he wins this fight. And he can also take out all these gunships as well. That factory is going to T3. Would have been nice actually now if he had a flak. He could retreat. He could send his air back to the flak, where Blodir could not fight. And the Corsairs snipe a T2 P-Gen. Not too big a deal for Turin. He has a lot of mass in the bank right now. He needed to be a bit faster to T3, I think, so he could actually spend a lot of this mass. We're seeing torp bombers come out. I think that's a bit of a mistake. Mobile anti-airs deployed, and they're going to actually shred a lot of these intis and force a retreat. P-Gen's going back up, and you can see he doesn't even seem to stall from this. A bit of storage would help a lot. Another P-Gen snipe. Still not having a very big impact, but it is certainly delaying T3 land. All the engineers have to spend their time making these P-Gens and not upgrading that factory. But overall, I think that the Corsairs were not that effective. The power did not harm Patchy too much. And of course, if he invests in one shield, it would do absolutely nothing. Didn't even have flak to defend, and it's still basically fine. Now what I would be worried about for Turin is all these T2 mexes not having TMD. There's no TMD anywhere that I can see. And as AN, that's very dangerous, because if you want to make TMD, you don't really want to be reacting to TML, because you're going to have to make so much TMD because of the short range. You're going to have to make TMD here for each of the P-Gens, all the mexes, which are quite spread out. But at least there is no possibility of TML comp, which would be potentially very good on this map, especially because you can hide in the water. That makes you very difficult to kill. As long as you have some air control. Have a lot of rhinos for Blodir. He's making a huge number of them. Almost 50 now. He's on T3 land. Let's find a T2 engineer, because I want to check the TML range. Where are all the T2 NGs? Here they are. Yeah, so if you're in the water, you can actually be on your side of the water and hit basically everything. And you could also put a TML here on your side of the map and hit pretty much everything. It'd be a nice place for TML base. What about arties? Can't quite hit the other base here, unfortunately. Can hit a fair bit of stuff though. Now these rhinos, are they going to be useful? I think well, that's a perfect defense versus rhinos, just masses of T1 PD. But with this many rhinos, they're going to take losses, but well, now we have the Medusa following up finally, and there'll be plenty of rhinos surviving, though they will have taken a fair bit of damage from the PDs. Medusa finish off this base, and the rhino's going to try and continue on to the back base where there are T2 mexes to kill, or PDs need to be spammed, but now the arbs are finished being produced quickly. We're going to need to see, yes, many support factories going up, and the harbs are going to come over and absolutely destroy these rhinos as long as there is just a bit of micro. On this side, Loyas and rhinos fighting it out versus harbs and Aurora. You can watch how badly the rhinos do versus the harbs. This one getting damaged, but he's going to run away out of range. His shield will come back shortly, and the rhinos just do absolutely nothing. Don't get any damage done. So much mass being left. There's huge battles happening on both sides of the map. The loyalists easily defeating the couple harbs that were there, and then the Aurora don't really contribute much at all. Maybe some mobile shields would help in that composition, just a few. You have a lot of loyalists on the top side. Blodir is very quick to move in and try and retake this base, take the mexes, and especially all the reclaim. You can see all the decals from dead units, and all the reclaim from those is gone. The triple adjacency factories are unfortunately building T1 units. It's very sad. Blodir has double adjacency on this one. I wonder. Can't remember all the percentages for how much you get discounted. There is a wiki page for that. Let's see what the economies look like. Well, we need to see T3P gen very soon. Probably should have one already. Blodir, does he have any T3P gen? I think he has 3 T2P or 4 T2P gens, and there is no T3P gen. How many Hydras does he actually have now? Oh, he even has the Hydras up here. He has 8 hydrocarbons. So much power, 800 power just from Hydras. And now trying to make a push with his Loyas. Needs to group them up a bit more. This is good micro from Turin. He has his Harbs pretty well grouped and is retreating away from the Loyalists. Harbs have superior health, superior damage, and superior range. And the range is the most important thing, really. If you can kite away from the Loyalists, and you can win, you will have better pathfinding. It's one of the main things about higher tech units. You have more mass concentrated in a single unit, so actually the pathfinding just works out better. That's why T1 units just become inefficient. If you have 100 T1 units, the vast majority of them are not going to be firing at any one time. So if you put all that mass into It's much more expensive units, then you can actually get them all firing at once, and that's really the main reason why higher tech units are better. Well, not the main reason. Well, yes, the main reason, but not the only reason. And of course, you have the experimentals, which are just the final level of that concentrated mass. You have 40,000 mass being used all at once, and using all of its firepower at once. So T3P gen now, and a GC has been started. T3P gen as well for Blodir, with adjacency to 2 other T2P gens. That's not... you don't get adjacency for that. And just back and forth, even fights. We also have bricks now mixed in. I think bricks are, well, just better generally versus harbs than loyalists, although it's pretty close. I think a mix should work well. But with bricks you have to be very careful, because if the harbs do get into range, the harb will just destroy the brick. I think the harb is just such a good unit. It's basically superior to a brick. You can also dodge into range, avoid a lot of fire from bricks, and win the battle. So this base just become a no man's land because of all the battles back and forth, harbs versus bricks versus loyas. Good reclaim here from Turin. And Blodir, look at these engineers, so valuable. Turin trying to get his own engineers into the area. But Blodir's doing a really good job here. If we look at economy, we have T3 max here, T3 max here, T3 max here. And Turin doesn't seem to have any T3 max. Well, he has 2 back here. And I think that's it. This GC is almost complete. And that is why we can see him getting pushed back on both sides of the map. So Blodir making gains, and this should perhaps make him slightly worried about pushing too far. Make him scout. Okay, he should see that the GC is done. So by this time we need to be looking at T3 air. We do have T3 air. And we also need to be looking at getting an Omni sensor up. That's one thing I'm always bad for, is being very late with the Omni sensor. It gives you so much vision. He could see the entire map. Now he's pushed slightly too deep, it looks like, and the harbs are counter-attacking. The bricks kind of spread out, and the harbs take advantage of that. He runs into range, and he's going to run over this whole force. And again, a lot of reclaim left in, so Blodir got baited in there a little bit. Just retreating and retreating from Turin, and then counterattacks when he has the numbers. Good play there. Ras coming up. More T3 P-gens. This is really... Don't build your P-gens like this. They're going to destroy each other if they are killed. But we have Omni Sensor. Speak of the devil. And the GC is moving out. Now, in this matchup, it is actually very difficult for the Aeon player, I think, because I think they do have the superior T3 land stage, the Harb. But when it gets to experimentals, the problem is you have one direct fire experimental, the GC, and you've one direct fire tank as well, the Harb, and the GC is expensive, and the GC does not do well versus the Loyalist, which is just so powerful. And then on the other side, the Cybern player has the Spider bot, which is very, very good versus Harbingers. Looks like Blodir is just suiciding all his ASF into a cloud of interceptors and a few swift winds. That's not good, and this GC is under attack. There's a whaler, there's loyalists running in under its feet, and there's a lot of brick fire on this. This loyalist is definitely dead. You can see, or the GC is going to die. You can see it sucks in the loyalist into its claw, and then the loyalist dies in the claw, stuns the GC. And that's very bad news. Huge mass donation from Turin. Very bad to waste a GC like that. You cannot use a GC on its own, especially, I mean, versus Cybern, you definitely cannot ever use the GC alone. You have to have a pretty significant number of harbs to defend them versus the loyalists. They're going to look to get in under its feet and get those stuns in. So definitely a misplay there to have a lot of harbs on the top and just send the GC in alone. And we have another GC coming, so this GC is going to have to be used to retake map control and take control of this wreck right now. Blodir's T3 air so far has not been good because he lost so many ASF. You can see there's still tons of inties, quite a few swift winds left. So the T3 air has not been good yet. You really need to wait quite a while to engage when you have ASF versus interceptors, or you need to have your own leftover interceptors from earlier on and use them with your ASF to win that airfight. Let's see. Now, reclaim is quite even. Blodir being maybe a bit slow to get this wreck. He's now sending engineers. Doesn't have factories too far forward. That's a transport that I guess I missed a drop at some point. Who knows when. So much is happening in this game. We have two no man's lands here on either side, which they're just fields of reclaim. Nobody can claim the bases. Blodir almost finished his spider bot. We need to see an omni sensor from Blodir for sure. Many spiders queued up. Now spiders do very well versus the harbs, but obviously GC is far superior. More range, great damage, a lot more HP. The Monkey Lord completes. We do have a bit of a harb escort for the GC now, but no. Well, there's a few units you could make. I mean, mixing in some longer range units is definitely going to help and be annoying in these sort of standoffs. If you have some sniper bots, shields, certainly mobile shields would be nice, and mobile arty as well. I think a mix would just be superior and help a lot. But now I'm lagging. The GC is under attack. A lot of loyalists, but they're standing outside of range. They should just be running straight in underneath the GC, as they're doing now. The bricks trying to focus the GC down, but you can see all the loyalists are getting killed very quickly by the harbs. But the stuns, look at this. Look at how much time was wasted. But still, it looks like the GC will win out and may even get a vet level from this. The harbs doing so well. A lot of them, almost all of them, have actually lost their shield. Some of them very low HP, but they survived, and so give out their full damage. That could have gone another way, but he wins that fight. Now we have very fast reinforcements. The spiders coming in, and this GC is low health right now. Only not even 40k HP. Will he get a vet level? I don't think so. Oh, it's gonna be close. He may get one, but this spider's already almost in range. And there isn't, he doesn't have a vet level. He needs to take out another loyalist, some flak maybe, and then he would vet. And then he may win this battle, but no, he doesn't. And the spider gets its first vet level, which helps it survive. Spider would have died if it didn't vet, and also the GC would have survived if it did. It just needed to kill one, maybe two more units, and it would have won the battle versus the spider bot. And now Blodir instantly has a lot of engineers in the area. And this is huge, massive turning point there. That battle was so close, just a couple thousand HP difference, and Blodir is stealing so much reclaim right now. Even just if there was a few more harbs in the area, then that would turn the battle as well. Very, very close battle. Very, well, you can just see the margins are so small in this game sometimes. More spiders coming. I think maybe a switch to a Megabot would be nice for Blodir. This would be the time to make it now that there's a lot of reclaim here that he can make it with, and also the numbers in terms of army have been thinned down so much by this massive battle that this is actually a perfect time to switch from spiders to megaliths. And of course they have very, very low build time. You can see Spider bot 8 minutes 45 if a T3 engineer is making it on its own, and it's only 10 minutes 25 for a Megabot despite being twice the cost. So it's very good for dumping all your mass into. And we're going to see the reclaim amount. Oh my god, it was pretty close. The reclaim numbers were pretty close, like even 5 minutes ago. Now more than double the reclaim for Blodir. And you can also see, if you look at the total mass, 500,000 total mass, right? 136,000 of that is reclaim. Just shows how important reclaim is, and how winning battles is not as important as actually getting the reclaim from the battles. Although you have to really do both. It is all about reclaim, and now we see the power of a brick. Oh, the strap bomb did so much damage, and it may actually allow the Harbs to win. That was a very good formation. You can see that Harbs bricks were so close together that they could actually all shoot at once, but then the Strat took advantage of that. One bomb hit maybe 5, 6, 7 bricks. Oh, that's a spider just running straight into a GC. He did not see that there. And now, and he doesn't even have T3 forces with him to actually help, and the GC just murders with the help of some Harbs as well. How did I miss that? Yeah, that's a bad mistake from Blodir. I have a spider in the pond. This is the one that survived, so he's just gonna leave it in the pond. He could reclaim it, but he hasn't needed the mass because he got so much reclaim, so he's just leaving it in the pond to regen. So much back and forth here, so much reclaim. Look, Blodir doing so well getting this reclaim. Turin needs to focus a lot more on that, but he's worried about trying to push here. Now, he has pushed and found that there is no reclaim remaining from that previous fight, but thankfully he has got a nice juicy donation. I think he wasted some of that reclaim. Is gone actually. I'm not sure. Maybe not. You want to try and be careful about walking over reclaim with experimentals, because they will damage it and leave less for you. See the army, 55 Harbs and a GC. And another GC almost halfway done. 3 spider bots, 22 bricks and 20 loyalists. One of the spiders is not going to be fighting since it's too low HP, but pretty even armies, all things considered. Actually, let me look at the cost. 100,000, 78,000, so let me just minus about 20k for the spider that's not really usable right now, and it's quite even. Another spider on the way. A big air grid being constructed for Turin. Even ASF numbers, quite even right now as well. And still just back and forth action. I think it's definitely time to move to megaliths. They're just so superior to most T3 land or most T4 land options. Huge amount of health, massive damage, and great range. And of course you can micro them. So many T3 mexes here. You gotta think just suiciding some strats in would almost be good. If you had 2 strats, you can strap on 2 T3 mexes in one pass. I think that would be worth it. Certainly lots of damage potential here, but maybe hard to do at this stage of the game. Well, Blodir actually, does he have... Yes, he does have Omni. He also has a nuke defense, but it's not going to be loading too quickly now that he's stalling. Asking for reclaim numbers. Turin has 90k. Well, now he has 100k. And Blodir 160. And here comes another massive engagement. It's about to happen. Turin, it's quite difficult for him to know when he can push and when he can't. Something can come out of the base at any time. So it's difficult to make inroads into this location. Oh, that's a lot of ASF. It looks like we might have an air fight unless Blodir tries to run away from this. I think Blodir has more numbers. What's the micro like? Well, the micro, they mostly avoided each other. Turin got some trailing ASF there, but Blodir retreats to his base, and Turin does not want to follow, understandably. Now, it gets very difficult to take these fights once you get past this location. This water really breaks up the land and makes it difficult to fight and get all your units out. Which actually favors the experimentals, especially the GCs, because, well, you can just put your 2 GCs right here, and the T3 line is going to have difficulty getting in to surround and stuff. Many suicidal 2-on bombers. Some Japanese tactics being engaged, not very effective. Now we have 3 Galactic Colossus moving forward, and Blodir sees this and does not want any part of it. He's now leaving. Only 2 spider bots and similar T3 armies, so well, Blodir's army is probably a bit bigger, but the GC's too strong versus the spiders. He's going to retreat. We have a lot of whalers building up, ready to help with this land battle. We also have, see, many flax mixed in, which is quite good. Now we don't have deceivers actually, which is unfortunate, but the Omni range is probably very, very large. Yes, reaching very far. So let's see what happens. Oh, here come the whalers, and it forces an air fight. And this is an air fight that Blodir, I think he ought to win. It looked like he had more, but actually the numbers seem quite even. This is a very awkward fight on the edge of the map. Turin's ASF are split into 2 groups, so the micro is not pretty. This GC is getting focused. It's the low HP one. And yes, quite even numbers, and a bit of a strange move from Blodir, and now he's retreating, and so giving up all of these whalers that will be killed and leave reclaim, which I think Blodir can take. And now another SF engagement. He wants to save some of the whalers now. Yeah, it's quite a strange air fight. But overall, Blodir achieved what he wanted there, I think, which was, well, he took out one GC. It was already low HP though, and stopped this attack from happening. But overall, I think it wasn't too good for him. He didn't lose all his ASF, which is certainly a massive plus, but he did lose pretty much all the whalers, which are expensive. They're basically flying bricks. That's what whalers are. So they are, you know, about the same cost and about the same damage. This spider bot is back to half HP. Maybe he should engage in the fight, try get some vet levels so he can get his HP back a bit faster. And we do have a switch to megaliths finally from Blodir. And actually we have a nuke. We have 20k mass in the bank. This nuke being assisted by T3 engineers. What does Turin see? He sees the nuke. Well, the nuke is on his screen, but does he see it? I don't think so. There's no reaction. I don't see any SMD. No nuke defense whatsoever. And I don't see any... Well, we have a couple strats, but to actually snipe this so deep in the base would be very difficult. We'd need many strats and a lot of ASF to cover them. And I fear the worst for Turin right now. He has not seen the most dangerous thing. Oh no, this GC took a step ahead of its army and it's being focused down by all of these bricks. This guy got sucked in but somehow survived with the death claws. Wow, he sucked that brick in and then tried to start shooting it as he was sucking it into his claw. That's something I haven't seen before. On the other side we have GCs fighting versus Monkey Lords. Look at the stun. Look at the stun. It's brutal. He sucks in the Loya, stuns both GCs and all of the Harbs. And still the spider bots are getting destroyed. Just amazing. And on the top side, the GC does die, but the bricks are overrun by the Harbs. Another spider bot. This spider bot is gonna die to this GC, which is now on 2 vets. Oh, look at the mass that's left here, but does it matter with a nuke gonna come for this base? Turin making ground on both sides, but is it too late? And that is why I said Blodir should move to megaliths. You can see the spiders at some point just don't do it. They don't have the range or the health to manage in those massive fights. This early spider bot emerges from the water. It's like a reserve unit, just in case it's needed. It will come out. And there is the nuke. Interesting place for the nuke. It doesn't take out all of this power, but he will take out the HQs. And probably won't hit the GC production. Maybe not the best nuke there, but still going to be absolutely devastating. Oh, he didn't move the strats. That's kind of bad. Could have saved those strat bombers. We still have a significant amount of power still alive. But now he pushes in. After seeing the nuke, he decides he has to push and try and fight this, but he just ran into a megalith. Look, it hasn't even taken damage, and the GC is dead. The army is dead. On the top side, the Harbs that ran over the brick army have been stopped. A GC emerges from the water. Wow, it just has GCs all over the place. And it looks like air is won by Turin, but does it really matter? Unless we can see... Well, we need an SMD extremely fast. That's a Tsar being planned. Well, let's see if the Tsar can do anything, because right now this looks very, very bad for Turin. He's lost both his HQs, so we won't have any more Harbs being produced. We won't have any more T3 air units or even T2 air units. The Tsar has not been started because pathfinding, you know, and he's not even building SMD. No interest in trying to stop this nuke. It would already be too late to build an SMD now. See, the next nuke is almost halfway, and this grid will disappear, and then maybe all these T3 mexes will disappear shortly after, if Turin does not quit by then. Here comes the Tsar. Let's see if Blodir spotted it. He has already. He has T1 air scouts flying around. More megas planned. We already have 2 on the field. And he can actually use the eggs to reclaim the wrecks. Place an egg on the wreck and it will reclaim quite quickly. And also you can still keep shooting and stuff. Very nice feature of the megalith. I lost air to Same. I think he means Sam's. And yes, he did. Let's see, where are the Sams in the base? I don't... Oh, there's one. Well, he had very few ASF by the time he actually had killed Blodir's air, so what was left over suicided itself by flying over the base for far too long. This GC is going to get wrecked by the megalith, and he just wants to farm some bricks. See the just massive damage of this megalith. This is like 2,000 or 3,000 damage every shot from those cannons. No chance now. Let's see if the Tsar can do anything. Well, if we just take a look at the ASF count, 50 ASF, virtually none for Turin, and that means that there is no chance for the Tsar to do anything. A single Tsar can't do anything versus that many ASF. If he had several Tsars, that would be a lot, well, you could survive a lot more ASF, but one Tsar versus all of these, it's going to get melted very quickly. Look at this. And it's dead. Oh, well, the spider didn't even die, did it? No. Almost. Well, GG, nuke wins the day. There's the second one. Should take out the entire air grid. Well, if only Turin had reacted to his own scouting. He had seen the nuke. He could have got an SMD up, but wasn't paying close enough attention, so the nuke lands, and that was the game winner, the game ender. A lot of big T3, T4 fights, especially on the bottom side, and smaller ones on the top side. Smaller ones, and you can see so many dead bricks and GCs. But yeah, look at this. How often do you see that on the ladder? Well played, both these players. Very nice, even game. And thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time.